Hey, all right. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Hope I'm coming through loud and clear. I seem to be. Mic good, mic good. Oh fuck! It just occurred to me I didn't turn on my subtitles. Give me 2 seconds, chat. But. All right, those should be up starting now. Monter good. Monter is good. Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope everyone's having a good night. Oh, shit. A year? What the fuck do you mean a year? Hello. Hello. You have finally reached the insight level of being a card-carrying VIP member of the MB Cabaret. You've seen things that many haven't and lived to tell the tale. Congratulations. Here's to furthering your insight. Oh, shit. And that's just with their 4-month subscription. Thank you. Sub baby overdue. No, that just means you've got another sub baby in the oven. So you got like 6 more months for another one. I wish to not know more. Thank you. Oh boy, once you're in this life, you don't stop learning. The information will come to you, friend. It will come to you. You can ignore it. It's just not happy when it's ignored. All I'm saying, wait, what do you mean that we have a hype train almost coming? I haven't even started. Oh my god, I should start if that's gonna be a thing that happens. Hang on. Bum. Let's boot the game. I think I hear the threshold is calling out to you. It might be speaking to you. Have you considered checking? I would check. Oh shit! Thank you for the biddy. Much appreciated. I actually don't know how many bits counts as a hype train contribution. But thank you for the biddy. Much appreciated, CJ. So I actually looked up out of curiosity. It makes sounds, you know, magnetic distortion doing their thing. Yeah, but doesn't it sound like human speech sometimes? Now, if anyone would like to throw in CJ, that's only 2 bits. Double or nothing. I'm just saying. Also, so I might have grinded a little off stream. Just a tiny bit. So we obviously have our grenade launcher. I've gotten to oh shit. Thank you, CJ, for the 2 bits. Let's go. Much appreciated. Give me 2 seconds. What's in my share cargo? What can I claim? Oh, okay, so I've unlocked this. I put that in the util pouch. So one of the things I found... Also, how's my boot clip? I got 2. Nah, it's not worth it. Hematic grenade, though. Does my grenade pouch have slots in it? Alright. So, in the grenade pouch, is there anything? No, there are remote stun bombs, and that's about it. Alright, we should recycle the spare magazine. So I looked into what the spare magazine actually does. They are invaluable. I don't know if I've actually unlocked the the method to fabricate them, but I've got it now. So we can rest in the shelter, but there's no private room here. So let's beeline to the nearest private room. Which, do I know where that is? No, I don't even remember what the icon is for it. Yeah, because that's a timefall shelter. Oh, online safe house. Perfect. Wait, I can... Hang on. I can check their storage? That is stupid useful. Alright. Oh. Okay, which way is that? Is my only issue. I remember that. Oi! Holy shit! Thank you for the 4 bits. Much appreciated, Eris. Much appreciated. Where the hell is this private room? Hang on. Oh, it's right down the road. So one of the things I found while looking up the differences between the director's cut is porters now have more places to rest, which I have found out apparently I don't even need to get off my bike to rest. But yes, we are gonna start the stream kind of counterintuitively with an intermission. Let's also give this a bunch of likes because it's right there.
This one's for you.
And it's gonna be a while till we can get more.
Today's a good day. This one's for you.
There we go. And now they know. Now they know I'm happy.
Your work is greatly appreciated.
Alright, thank you everyone for the support. Genuinely, genuinely. The threshold does not and cannot speak. Can the threshold threaten to stab you? So what's with the likes? Likes are something that is completely free, that is literally just, hey, that thing you made and put in the world, that helped me out. Let me give you something to increase your bridge link, which on one end allows you to it allows you to make more connections with other players, but also a couple smaller things. I believe more bridge link also allows you to give more likes, meaning those who build good shit get genuinely rewarded. Alright, so we are gonna kind of weirdly start this stream off with an intermission. We have 12 mail and 21 data. We'll start with the mail. The Evo Devo biologist. S4124, will new life rise from the tar? Let me thank you again for your assistance, Sam. The tar analysis is ongoing, but I was somewhat surprised to discover that it contained chemical components which bore a striking resemblance to D-amino acids. These so-called right-handed acids are rarely found in living organisms on Earth. Left-handed L-amino acids are what one generally expects. However, this sample of tar contained none, save the rare variant. If you're stupid enough to stand in the gates, it's closing it can and will turn you to mush. That's fair. The hypothesis that this tar may function as a medium to summon the past into the present may be incomplete, for it may also give rise to a new life comprised of D-amino acids. New life more accustomed to thrive in a post-stranding world, perhaps? Would its rise concede with the fall of L-amino acid-based life such as ours? All I know at this time is that the Stranding is almost certainly the source of this, and countless other unexplained phenomena. However, what ultimately lies in the store for this planet and its inhabitants remain a mystery. The veteran porter. So this is a new one. This is one of the only things I actually unlocked, is I found a new prepper, and it's a veteran porter. The veteran porter. Thank you. You saved my life. Sam Porter Bridges, eh? Heard an awful lot about you. I'm a porter too, see, and I like to take an interest in my fellow delivery boys and girls. Now, you probably don't know the first thing about this, but the fact is, after the Stranding hit, the government didn't come to the rescue. Matter of fact, the almighty USA did jack shit. And you know who picked up the slack? Private porters, that's who. Make deliveries that kept people alive, stepping up and doing what no one else could or would. That's the world I grew up in. I learned that at the end of the day, the only people you can trust, individuals, not organizations. That's why I feel no part of your UCA or want no part of your UCA or bridges neither. Sorry, that's just how I feel. Nevertheless, I will say I am mighty grateful to you for bringing me those meds. Not sick or anything, just so you know. Not even injured, just worn out, burnt out, fucked on a quantum level, if you like. That's what happens when you push yourself too far. Make one delivery too many. Used to be there wasn't a single mountain I couldn't climb. I'd even trek down south to places most porters never even heard of, much less seen with their own two eyes. Not anymore. I'm not full-on retired or nothing, but I wouldn't be lying if I said I wasn't worried how much longer I can go on. I tell you what, though. I was doing a lot better after you dropped by to see me. Felt good to know I had a buddy out there. Somebody who'd keep fighting the good fight long after I'm gone. You'll do that for me, won't you, Sam? Oh, speaking of the places down south, I remember the last time I was out that way, saw something, little glowing thingy it was. No idea what the hell it was, but didn't look like something somebody had dropped. Ever see an object like that? Evidently biologists about to invent Turian chocolate and Quarian whiskey? Hell yeah. Aaron Hill, Mountain Knot City. Thanks for delivering the coat and boots. Thank you for picking up Dead Man's coat and boots. They were loaners and of a size that we won't even stock in excess. In fact, it's so rare that someone asks for them that we only paid for the one that we only had the one set. Anyway, we'll give them a good wash before placing them in storage. You take care of yourself, Sam. The medical device engineer. The terminal only works because of the network. Thank you again for not only delivering the terminal of mine, but providing a network connection for it to function. Otherwise, it would have been no better than a box of circuits and solenoids. The network has made a difference in other ways as well. It's that much harder now for city doctors to ignore the sick out there, for start. Their matter, that out-of-sight, out-of-mind attitude towards the suffering beyond their walls drove my husband crazy, and was one of the reasons we moved in the first place. Without even a modicum of compassion and consideration, they demand people come into town to see them, and then these poor folks inevitably couldn't make the trip. Corpse disposal ended up with more bodies to burn. I couldn't help but be moved by his passion for his profession. Didn't think twice about joining him or marrying him. I thought a great deal about the kinds of benefits the chiral network might bring, which led me to devise a terminal as a means for treating patients remotely. As he may have told you, we have the only one for now. But if it continues to perform well, we can find the means to mass produce them. We could help a whole lot of people, but only if the network is there to provide support. So keep expanding it. It'll help in more ways than you can imagine. The geologist, chiral nightmares. Thanks, Sam. Or dear Sam. Thanks to you, the chiral contamination's all cleared up. Nasty symptoms, though. Dizziness, headaches, insomnia. At first I was worried it was all down to my isolation in the shelter and the intense focus on my research for the past year. But it got real bad when the nightmares started. I saw the end of the world. Portal to the beach opening and BTs pouring out by the thousands. Nowhere to run, no time. Then they began scooping us up one by one. And the void outs came. Bigger and bigger until a massive one, or several massive ones, enveloped the whole world and poof! Just like that. When I told Hartman about it, he likened it to visions of extinction doom sufferers tend to experience. It's strange, though. After all, we now have an incontrovertible proof that chiralium is far from a recent addition to our world. Anyway, that's a problem for a different day. The important thing is I'm cured, and it's all thanks to you. Peter Englert. For a last meal, only pizza will suffice. Dear Sam Porter Bridges, once again, it is I, Peter Englert, and once again I must implore you to fulfill an urgent request. I speak, of course, of pizza. Before you declare me unforgivably selfish, just know that the occasion I write you is on behalf of my elderly father, who's been fiendishly out of sorts of late, and has even divulged to me his dreams of the beach. You can imagine how I felt upon hearing such dreadful news. I fear he might not be long for this earth. And that being the case, I cannot bear the thought that he might shuffle off his mortal coil, having never sampled the transcendental delights you deliver. Could you help me grant his final kindness by ferrying the dish in question from Mountain Knot City? My father's often spoke of his fondness for salami. If you could ensure that his last supper is topped with a copious serving of said sausage, he would die a happy man indeed, I'm sure. You know what's fun? Being told your plugin causes a crash you would a null point reference on Windows that you don't even see underlined. That's hell. The Craftsman, S2321, BTs that aren't affected by your blood. How are things, Sam? You at the coast yet? Can't be far off, I bet. You'll be pleased to hear that the local porters are doing their best in your absence, and those hematic grenades you bought are making a huge difference. Speaking of all things hematic, though, we've received a report that suggests there are some BTs out there that aren't affected by your blood. BT in question glowed bright red, apparently, and the poor porter who ran into it barely lived to tell the tale. He brought himself plenty of hematic grenades with him, but they didn't seem to do the trick. As you can imagine, this is a seriously concerning development. I mean, your blood was the only weapon we had against those things. What are we supposed to do now? I mean, sure, they're bound to have some sort of vulnerability we can exploit, but how many of us are going to die finding out what that might be? Anyway, consider yourself warned, Sam. Be careful out there, yeah? And the Spiritualist, S4108. A snapshot of ages past. Sam, do you recall the handprint you brought me? Well, I hope you're sitting down because I just analyzed it and I discovered that it was 65 million years old. It dates back to the late Cretaceous period when the dinosaurs became extinct. I did fear that perhaps it was just the rock and the handprints themselves have been added much later, but that seems not to be the case. Could it be someone who traveled through time via the beach in order to leave it? If not, how could it possibly have been made? I plan to look into the matter further, and I'll get in touch if I learn more. If you happen to stumble across anything that might shed light on this mystery, let me know, won't you? Oh god, we've got way more, actually. The Mountaineer, we had a boy. And do you have power gloves? Big news, Sam. We just welcomed new life into this world. Baby boy. Both him and the missus are doing fine. In fact, they're sleeping peacefully right next to me as I write this message. I know you're a busy man, though, so won't go on about us. Besides, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think you're the best porter there is. And even you must have found it tough making deliveries up in these snowy mountains, right? Well, if you tried using power gloves, they can be a real game changer, let me tell you. You lose your footing and start to slip, gloves will help you catch yourself before you slide right off a cliff. They make decent weapons, too, if things get hairy. Just bear in mind that they drain your battery, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. And hey, don't tell me you've never wanted to rock a set of metal claws like an action hero, Sam. You know, I got a feeling that you're gonna be a real role model for my boy when he gets older. Of course, it's down to all of us, myself included, to make sure the world's a better place for him in future generations. I know you feel the same. Let's not let him down, Sam. Came down to you trying to paint the renderer the moment the window came into existence because of Windows messages bothered you so much I think you got out of bed to fix it. I mean, shit, but you found out what it was? A Mountaineer. Watch out for the whiteout. Sam, hope this gets to you. Weather took a turn for the worst a little ago. And now it's just gone full whiteout. Zero visibility up here on the mountain. If you weren't caught in it as well, it's not too late. I suggest you keep an eye on the weather forecast and steering clear. Limited visibility is not the only issue with whiteouts, you know. You lose spatial awareness, can't gauge distances. Hell, sometimes you literally can't tell up from down. Pretty scary stuff. With your map, though, you shouldn't be completely helpless. You can use your map to route a course to your destination. Those will show up whenever you use the Ultradex cargo scanner to ping your surroundings, even if you literally can't see them. If you lose your way, try switching to compass mode to confirm your destination. That way, you can at least orient yourself in the direction you need to go. Above all else, don't panic. It's easy to lose your head in a whiteout. If you stay calm, you'll absolutely be fine. Good luck, Sam. The doctor. Connections keep us alive. The medical terminal and bioprinter appear to be functioning as intended. The Mountaineer's wife should now be able to receive the treatment she needs, thank goodness. Did you know that it was my better half who designed both these devices? The medical terminal uses hologram technology, and the bioprinter was built upon existing chiral printer tech. The difference, of course, being that this model can be used to synthesize medicines and organic compounds. My partner used to enjoy life in the city. She worked as a researcher there. But when I proposed moving out here to provide medical care for preppers, she was happy to follow me. How fortunate for us all, as preppers cannot survive in complete isolation, and neither can I. There's not much of a point in being a medical professional if you've no one to tend to. Indeed, we need to forge and maintain connections of all kinds, and that's just what you're helping us do. With your deliveries, and by expanding the chiral network, make no mistake, the bonds between us make us stronger. But you already knew that, didn't you? The photographer's mother, following in her father's footsteps. Dear Sam, you've done more for my family than you can ever know. It's a tremendous comfort that my husband didn't die in vain, especially since it seems his work was so important. My daughter has her heart set on doing even more, though. She says she's going to investigate further. Proud as I am, though, we thought of her putting herself in danger yet again is... well, let's say I'm a little conflicted. But I expect a man like you would call that being selfish. Forgive me. The last thing you need is me burdening you with my worries. You can be careful out there, you hear? Or you be careful out there, you hear? The doctor. For bigger bags, more blood. Have you been using the high-capacity blood bag I made for you, Sam? I really do think you'll find it useful. I wish it was possible for me to print them on demand, but it's simply not feasible at the moment. Ordinary materials won't suffice for the construction. It requires chiralium. The machinery I use for production is also somewhat unique and unwieldy, so replicating the process elsewhere isn't an option. I'll keep looking into it, of course, but in the meantime, you'll have to fabricate them here. Sorry, Sam. Be sure to stop by and pick up some if you have the chance, though. They might just save your life. The photographer. Dad'd be proud. Dear Sam, I was right about the camera. I'm told the pictures I took were incredible. You see, the paintings of whales and dolphins I discovered in those caves might have been painted by Neanderthals. I really don't understand the significance of it all, but it was definitely what my father was looking for. I don't think I've ever been so happy in my entire life, and it's all because of you. Dad'd be happy too, I'm sure of it. Thank you so much. I know I nearly gave my mom a heart attack, but it proves that it was worth it in the end, right? I made a difference for once, and I can do it again. There might be other secrets of the Death Stranding hidden nearby. I'll be more careful this time. I'll have to get back out there and find them. I'll be in touch when I do. It's funny because it was part of an attempt to make SDL2, the renderer, react to the window resizing and changing position because it stops updating when either of the two happens. Right, you read? That's an issue that's impossible to combat because Windows message pumps or something. Yeah, that sounds about right. The roboticist. We did read these because we needed to get that. The roboticist, making use of the all-terrain skeleton? Sam, have you been using your all-terrain skeleton? Pretty amazing, I know. But would you believe that some porters don't even like them? Apparently the design's too functional or something. I mean, have they actually tried to use one? If they had, I know they'd change their tune. They'd be raving on about how it lets you power through the snow drifts and over rocky terrain, and about how the boost mode lets you charge up slopes and across rivers without draining any endurance. I suppose one legitimate criticism is that it doesn't actually help you carry any more cargo, but that shouldn't come to a surprise since the focus is on balance and stability. I'm sure we can address that particular concern with future models. I'll stop moaning about the moaners now, so long as you remember to use your skeleton whenever you've got to traverse some tricky terrain, eh? Not that I've got to ask. I know you will, Sam. You're not like those other guys. Charles Kahn, way station north of Mountain Nut City. I saw another one of those glowing things. Saw it again, Sam. Same weird glowing thing. I've been swinging by the local incinerator daily, keeping an eye out for BTs. Mind you, it is getting easier to give them the slip. Just look out for fluctuations in chiral density, and you've got a pretty good idea when they're headed your way. And you know what? I haven't seen one yet, even when timefalls got pretty bad. My buddies tell me I don't need to go out there no more. Don't need eyes on BTs to track their movements, but if I'd given it up, wouldn't have seen it again. That same strange glow, this time near the incinerator. You gotta see this with your own eyes, I'm telling you. Chiral fluctuations don't just tell the tale. Just promise me one thing, though. If you go hunting for it, you be careful, alright? Craftsman, the age of printed nukes. I used to have this prepper friend, older guy, who'd always talk about the good old days before the Stranding. 3D printing was all the rage, apparently, and the tech could be used to spit out pretty much anything you could think of. Even the most complicated stuff. Didn't take long for the first gun to be printed. All you had to do was input the right data, had yourself a firearm. People didn't think much of it at first, just kids messing around and all that, but it didn't stop there. Guns became printed bombs, and printed bombs became printed nukes. Illegal as hell, of course, but the government couldn't do anything to stop it. If you've got no idea who's packing a nuke, the best course of action is to make sure you're packing one yourself, right? That's how people thought back then, anyway. Mutually assured destruction for every honest citizen. People saw enemies everywhere. Terrorists, sleeper cells, all that shit. And then, there was an explosion. The Death Stranding had nothing to do with nukes, of course, but people were pretty quick to jump to the wrong conclusion. Almost everybody assumed it was terrorism. Shit, why wouldn't you? Anyway, this old-timer, he didn't want anything to do with other people. He just wanted to shut himself up in the shelter and be left alone. He was scared. Everything that came before had led to a world filled with weapons. I could see where he was coming from, thinking society and government were doomed to fail, but I'm a bit more optimistic. As long as you remember the mistakes of the past, as we thrive for a better future, I believe we can prevent another explosion. Guess what I'm saying is, I'm fully aware of the risks, but I think we gotta give the UACA a shot. And Aaron Hill, Mountain Nut City. Why Lochner opposed the UCA? Eeper cells, Colonel. Give me Eeper cells. Why Lochner opposed the USA? Finally got the lowdown on why Lochner didn't want us to be a part of the UCA. Can't say I understand it at all, truth be told, but her concern that bringing everything and everyone into the fold might mean including some elements better left out. I get it. If you take a step back, you can see terrorism and war might only get worse once we're whole. Forging bonds between people means bringing them closer together, and to do that means putting all our cards on the table, including the ones that ain't so pretty. It's naive to expect things to be all smiles and sing-alongs just because we understand each other a little bit better, you know? Seems like she was right to call bullshit on that. Lochner and Mama were joined by that special bond that twins have. That's how Mama wanted to carry Lochner's child. A child that should have brought them close together, but didn't. Instead, served to sever ties between them for good, and bound Lochner into something else entirely. At least, that's what Lochner probably thought. Maybe her sister wanted the kid maybe even that her sister wanted the kid all herself. She never knew about the accident, the real reason. Can't imagine how she must felt, thinking she'd been betrayed by the one person she trusted more than ever. Not so hard to see how that'd color her opinions on the chiral network. That's all behind her now, though. She and Mama have reconciled their differences, and maybe her faith in the ties that bind can be restored. And that is us caught up on mail. Now we've just got our data. I'm actually feeling memory chips first, so we could look at Godzilla. It was in this film that Godzilla, who would later go on to become an iconic figure for monster movie fans all over the world, made his debut. The movie went on to spawn a series of countless versions, and its unlikely star is remembered as an enduring metaphor for the threat posed by nuclear weapons. Legendary directors over the world over, not least among them Nicholas Winding Refn and Guillermo del Toro, have cited Godzilla as a huge influence. In 2004's Godzilla Final Wars, the title sequence by Kyle Cooper and Yoji Shinkawa designed Atragon showcased the long pedigree of big-name fans the series had accumulated all over the years. Roland Emmerich wasn't the best Godzilla maker, but what he said made Godzilla sexy, give him androgynous riz, he was real for that one. Yup. He was real for that one. Wine glass. Wine is loved the world over, with a good reason. It's the oldest known form of alcohol. It's been being produced for at least 8,000 years. However, it is a delicate and changeable brew, and the light, vibration, and temperature must all be carefully controlled during the manufacturing process. The rewards for such care and attention are more than worth it, of course. A fine vintage is like nothing else in the world. Those in the know believe that to truly enjoy such a wine, the thinnest, lightest possible glass is best. But to deliver such glasses is a challenge that in itself requires more than care. Requires more care and fine control. A true test of the porter's art. Incidentally, the research is currently underway to how the beach might be used as a means of preserving fine wines. Snow crystal. A true natural work of art. Though all are six-sided, no two are ever the same. The fact that has fascinated throughout observers throughout the years. It should be noted that since the beauty of the snowflake has not changed since the advent of timefall, the reported discovery of certain hand-shaped examples have been subject to much discussion. Unfortunately, none have been preserved, making their existence of these five-fingered rarities more of a rumor than an established fact. From a reporter's point of view, transporting a snowflake is out of the question. It would surely melt before it even reached the destination. Could call me a wine connoisseur. I'll allow it. The Kawasaki Ninja H2R. While ninjas have been operatives whose chief purpose was to go unnoticed, the Kawasaki Ninja was designed to do anything but. It became a symbolic superhero of Japanese motorcycles, and fans all over the world knew it was superlative use of that technology. Knew it for its superlative use of the technology of the time. True to its name, the Ninja was a free agent that thought outside the box, and its supercharged engine meant it was blessed with skills and techniques available to mere mortals. Unavailable to mere mortals. It's a bike beloved of porters who also like to think outside the box, enabling them to mix up their order sheet with a collection of missions and lost cargo collections in addition to standard deliveries. And Nicholas Winding Refn and The Wicked Die Young. A gem of an album, containing songs inspired by Nicholas Winding Refn during the shooting of Neon Demon. Giorgio Moroder, Electric Youth, and Cliff Martinez, composer of the music for Drive, all feature showcasing in depth and breadth of Winding Refn's influences, as does daring sleeve design. Anyone who's ever seen these films is sure to be swept up in the vision on display here. Alright, and interviews. Cave paintings and stencils from Hartman a year ago at his lab. Cave paintings provide an invaluable window into the lives of our ancestors. How they lived, what they experienced. Some have been preserved here in our continent, although most have sadly been lost in void-outs. The oldest cave paintings of all are believed to date back to 64,800 years or more, but all of these are, or perhaps were, in Europe. What became of them, I wonder? Have they too been obliterated in annihilation events? If not, are the caves containing them now infested with BTs? Does Europe still exist even? One cannot help but worry for these vital records have been forever lost to us, but I digress. The first paintings were likely to be made by the Neanderthals. They were crude depictions of creatures such as deer, bison, and horses, interspersed with stenciled outlines of large hands. Some assert these were the signatures of primeval painters, but could they not also be depictions of BT handprints? Could our ancient relatives have been trying to tell us something, or issue a warning? Or is that perhaps one flight of fancy too far? Love how Hideo just puts his favorite music into the lore. Yeah. Remind me later, there's straight up a thing where it's like, yeah, Hideo Kojima went to a random record store and fell in love with this band, and it's a band that's in this game. Neanderthals are not extinct. From Hartman 3 years ago at Bridges HQ. Where's Hunt Down the Freeman, though? Don't ask questions you're not ready for the answer to. Both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens were believed to share a common ancestor with the form of Homo heidelbergensis. Heidelbergensis? I think I'm doing that right. Heidelbergensis, actually, probably. Homo heidelbergensis. But the clear difference between the two, Neanderthals were brutish and brawny, well equipped to hunt larger animals and survive in colder climates, whereas Homo sapiens were slender-limbed and only capable of hunting smaller prey. But as the millennia passed, Homo sapiens learned to create tools and hunt in packs. The Neanderthals, who actually had larger brains than the Homo sapiens, also fashioned tools of their own, but these were crude in comparison, and developed little over 200,000 years. Perhaps because they were simple-minded beings, they favored small family units, so even if a breakthrough occurred, it was unlikely to be shared with others. This isolation, more than any other factor, seems to have led their decline. Clearly, I am ready for this answer. Do you forget that Birkin and Kojima went out before? Yes. I remember this. Homo sapiens, meanwhile, conceived religion, which large numbers of individuals would be bound together to serve a common cause. Strength in numbers also made their communities more resistant to famine and other calamities. In other words, Homo sapiens grew stronger through interpersonal connections by creating what was called society. If we persist in our divided state, we risk losing this hard-won unity and dooming ourselves to the Neanderthals' fate. We will dwindle and die, apart and alone. But history holds something holds another intriguing lesson. Homo sapiens did not disdain Neanderthals. The two species even intermingled on occasion. Our DNA retains vestiges of our ancient cousins even now. So you see, while a species itself may disappear, its genetic legacy may yet endure. We just need to evolve. True. Hartman's theory of evolution, about a year ago from Hartman at his lab. The evolution of life on Earth would be described as the evolution of consciousness. When the first vertebrates clambered out of the oceans and onto the land, their consciousness expanded to process the new realm that lay before them. But their development did not end there. Their eyes moved from the flanks to their fronts, that they might comprehend the depth of the world. Mammals formed groups, increasing their chances of survival. Eventually, they came together in communities and in larger societies. In order to preserve and maintain these structures, humans developed a perception of time, and in order for societies to outlast the lifespan of the individual, we conceived an afterlife, a future beyond ourselves. Alas, the Death Stranding threatens to undo all our progress. Consider the chiral network, which incorporates the beach, where time does not exist, or rather timefall. Or consider timefall, which rapidly accelerates the degradation of which it comes into contact with. How can our sense of time, honed over millions of years, remain intact when we must cope with such irrational phenomena? Yes, that is but the tip of the proverbial iceberg. We are growing apart, retreating into isolation, gradually losing our place within society. I would even go so far as to say as our conceptions of reality are under threat. How could they not be? With the very eyes deny the invisible BT that stands before us. The Stranding has warped our consciousness. In every sense, if the evolution of life on Earth is indeed akin to the evolution of consciousness, then what is happening now is undeniably a regression, is it not? There's one caveat, of course. Some of us are now far more aware of death than we ever were. That is what Dooms has given us. For me, therefore, Dooms is not merely a biological change. I prefer to think of it as a means by which I have achieved a new form of consciousness. Furthermore, I hope and believe that this new awareness of the other side is humanity's trump card as we seek to defeat Death Stranding. Umbilical cords in Devonian-era fossils. Hartman, 3 months ago at his lab. An article from an old scientific journal was recently brought to my attention. It predates the Death Stranding and concerns the discovery of a 380-million-year-old fossil, one from the time of the Devonian era. To give its period a proper name, it was a fossil of a fish, and in its womb was a child connected to its mother by an umbilical cord, no less. The species? Meterpieces attenboroughi. I think I actually got that right. Masterpieces attenboroughi, yeah. It's a placoderm, an extinct class of armored marine creatures that used to live in the sea the world over. Unfortunately, they were wiped out during the Devonian era, right around the time of the second of the Big Five, in fact. As you may be aware, one of the key foci of my research is the link between creatures with umbilical cords and mass extinctions. Once this area is connected to the chiral network, it is my hope that we will be able to piece together more data that will help us learn more about the link between umbilical cords and Death Strandings. Dooms finally have a cure for Richards? What? Yo, Mr. White, I made a Rosetta Stone. It says bitch in every language. That's good. I like that one. Bridges needs Homo ludens. From Hartman 2 years ago at his lab, I've already spoken at length about the new varieties of man that have emerged in the wake of the chiral pollution and from the resulting phobias. Homo demons, Homo gestalt, not to mention those touched by dooms. This much is common knowledge. I, however, would posit that we further categorize humans of this day and age. Take our comrades Mama and Luckna, for example. They're creators, are they not? People who use tools to make things, craftspeople, Homo faber. Consider a dead man, one who looks the dead in their eyes every day, one who takes their organs as his own. His relationship with death is transcendental, sublime. It is, in essence, his faith. He is Homo religiosus. As for myself, Homo loquens, a linguist, one who seeks to understand this world through the language of the science and logic. There is, however, another very special type of human, a breed that would serve Bridges rather well. Homo ludens, they who play. Be it deliberate or unintentional, Homo ludens unite people, creating cultures, shaping the very world around them, not through violence, nor laws or prescriptions, but rather through metaphorical acts of play. I know one person who matches the description. The one they call the Great Deliverer, Sam Porter. Despite Die Hardman's best efforts, however, his whereabouts are still unknown. Interviews with the geologists 1 year ago at their shelter. I remember this. It was just before I joined the expedition where I found the documents in Bridges HQ, research papers that predated the Death Stranding. People used to believe that dinosaurs had gone extinct at the end of the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago. When this fellow investigated various locations where late Cretaceous dino fossils had been found, he came to the starting conclusion that there was hardly any evidence anywhere on Earth that supported the theory that dinosaurs had survived until the end of the Cretaceous. In other words, almost all of them had been wiped out long before that. He ain't no try-hardman. God damn it, chat's got the same brain cell. The only place where there were fossils that did support the traditional theory was here, in North America, which suggested that this was the last part of the Earth to have been inhabited by dinosaurs. Now, everyone agreed with this analysis at the time, but let's say he had it right. That would mean that there's evidence of a mass extinction hidden here, right beneath our feet. Evidence which could prove invaluable in understanding the one on the horizon. Did the dinosaurs who happen to live here just get lucky, or is there something special about this place that allowed them to survive? I'd love to get to the bottom of it, but I'm not sure I have what it takes. I'm not like Hartman. Don't have dooms or any other useful, unique traits. Still, I want to make myself useful. I want to research the Stranding and help uncover the truth behind it. That's why I joined the expedition team, after all. Interviewed with the paleontologist about a year ago at their personal shelter. In the period since the first forms of life arose here on Earth, the planet was witness to a number of mass extinctions. And as you're no doubt aware, most significant of these are known as the Big Five. First marked the end of the Ordovician period, while the next, the end of the Devonian period, wiped out almost all marine life. But the third of these extinctions, at the end of the Permian period, around 250 million years ago, was even worse. 96% of all marine organisms and 70% of land organisms died as a result. The fourth extinction finished off most large reptiles. Although the dinosaurs managed to hold until the fifth came along at the end of the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago. We humans are evolved from the small mammals, which managed to survive that particular catastrophe. Each of these 5 extinctions resulted from an enormous change to the natural environment. Species which were unable to adapt to these changes perish, while those who were ideally situated to evolve did thrive and did just that. Evidence from records which predate the Death Stranding indicate that many scholars believed a 6th mass extinction was on its way, or may have already begun. There was something that was a consensus regarding its cause as well: humanity's destruction of the environment. This led them to sound the alarm, warning the world what was at stake. At the time, the greatest minds of the era believed that if the ecosystem could be preserved, and if humanity could learn to live in harmony with nature, then a future could be secured for all the world's species, humans included. But that was then, and this is now. If the phenomena we are currently experiencing is indeed the 6th extinction, then it must be acknowledged that humanity is its main target. Is this divine punishment for our misdeeds? If so, then I suppose there is little that can be done. Perhaps there is no way to forward for humanity now. Nevertheless, I refuse to give up. I'll endeavor to find hope in our predicament. Cause of extinction, not enough Mads Mikkelsen's. It sound like I had to move my headphone cup, and it went off the ear for a second, so I could move my hair while talking. Sorry about that. What I can do about that, actually, though, I want to conduct an experiment with y'all. Does it sound about the same now? The headphone is completely off my ear. And I'm kind of curious if this sounds the exact same. Sounds fainter. Huh, weird. Let me actually take my thing off my headset. Yeah, because I've got this one that, like, this setting has it to where, like, the sound that's coming towards it is picked up, but not the sound coming from the front, if that makes sense. And the other is like a completely open. Check, 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 check. Yeah, I don't even know if there's much of a difference on that one. Wait, let me actually flick it back to normal. But yeah, I was technically further away. Interviews with the Evo Diva biologist. About a year ago at their personal shelter. I was born after the Death Stranding, so my conception of what the world once was is derived entirely from documents and photographs and video. We didn't have timefall for one, just regular rain. No chiral clouds, only the traditional masses of suspended moisture. And one certainly didn't have to worry about tar bubbling up from underground in most locales. Humans could travel anywhere, even into space, and we were blissfully unaware of the beach's existence. Suffice it to say, there is no doubt that this is a period of sweeping change that will give lasting repercussions for all time on Earth. Given that, dooms may simply be humanity's way of trying to adapt and survive. A beach exists within the consciousness of every individual, but these environmental changes, they affect all life on a genetic level, do they not? That's why I thought to investigate them. And the medium through which I chose to do so is the tar, which has become so ubiquitous. But you're not interested in that, I'm sure. So you already know, there's a real possibility that we've already failed to adapt to the sixth extinction, that we are but another evolutionary dead end soon to be left behind. But if that's the case, then it could be reason that the ones afflicted with dooms, and therefore blessed with an enhanced perception of the beach, are our successors who will survive and supplant us. I suppose that would be a shame, but it doesn't trouble me all that much. My research will survive me as well, and the doom sufferers can pick up from where I left off. They'll carry on my genetic lineage too, for that matter. No, what worries me the most is that even dooms will prove sufficient to endure this extinction. If that's the case, then humanity is doomed. This is certainly a possibility we have to acknowledge. But more than that, one question looms above us all. Why? Why now? Why like this? That's what I want to know more than anything. I doubt the dinosaurs and all the other species that came and went never considered that question, worrying over the reason for this. That's a uniquely human condition, I suppose. Yet this idle curiosity may be the key to understanding and overcoming the stranding. Tar bubbles from the beach from Aaron Hill a year ago at Mountain Knot. I heard this area was pretty inhospitable before I got here. Got your fair share of mountains, obviously, and on top of that, there were these rumors about a secret terrorist base or something. So I figured I was in for a bad time. But when me and the team got there, yeah, it was way worse than what we thought. Felt like we could get jumped any second, you know? Tell you what, though, couldn't believe my eyes when I saw all the tar out west. Wonder what the hell Amelie and her team made it through, but someone said it wasn't nearly as bad when they made the trip. I was sent out to take a closer look, and man, it was something else. And it couldn't have been that long either. Hard to imagine all that bubbled up damn near overnight. Honestly, I felt like I was standing at the edge of the world. We don't know much about the tar, except that it wasn't around before the stranding. Same as timefall and chiralium. There's some speculation that it might be some byproduct of the beach, and that if you could somehow retrace the flow, you'd end up here. But that's all theoretical stuff. Right now we got a practical problem to deal with. One of the chiral relays we built is at risk of going under any moment. We don't have the manpower to relocate it yet, but we should once the second expedition comes up. Whether we can wait that long is another question, though. Maybe you could tell them to get their asses in gear if you get the chance? Give me 2 seconds, there's gonna be a gross sound, so I'm gonna mute. Sorry, my sinuses are getting backed up like a motherfucker this month. Prepper interview. The photographer, her mother about a year ago to personal shelter. It wasn't long ago that we moved into the shelter. Just the three of us. Before that, we used to live in the city, until my husband up and said we had to leave. He was so insistent that I didn't have any other choice but to go along with it. I couldn't take care of our daughter by myself. He said he was sick of city life, and that I can't say I don't understand at all. I mean, timefall may not have been an issue, but BTs. But I can see how safe and comfortable life might become suffocating. Our daughter might be happy and healthy, but we're the exception. Hardly anyone's having children these days. You don't need a crystal ball to see where the world's headed. My husband says we're bound for extinction, says nobody's doing anything about it. People would rather stick their heads in the sand and try to wait out the storm. If we don't figure out the Death Stranding and fix this world of ours, that's all she wrote. My husband says that a lot. And maybe he's just a guy with a camera, but at least he's doing something, and so on. He's out again, somewhere, investigating something. Recently, he started taking our daughter with him, teaching her to take photos of rocks and murals and the like. I'm glad they're spending time together, and I know it's good for her education, but I still hate it when they go out and leave me here to wait and pray that they come back safe and sound. The mountaineer's husband, about a year ago, at his personal shelter. People didn't mean to stay cooped up inside or live in one place forever. It's not natural. Exploration's in our DNA. The great outdoors is where we're supposed to be. You know, our ancestors started out in Africa, right? Well, they didn't just stay there, did they? They wanted to try and find a better life, a better home. That's why humanity spread all across the planet. And as we've traveled, we evolved. Little by little, we've grown tougher and smarter. Even our immune systems have become stronger. But if we stop moving, stop exploring, that all stops too. We stagnate as a species. Maybe even regress. That's why we can't hole up in cities. There's a massive universe beyond those chiral clouds that I'd love to explore someday. But that's not possible. Then I want to at least get as close as I can. Climb the biggest mountains, go as high as I can go, try to see what life, or try to see what lies beyond. I want to do it with the love of my wife. The world-class mountaineer showed me the beauty of this place, my guiding star. Together, we can peak no summit. Or there's no peak we can't summit. Prepper interviewed the spiritualist about a year ago at their personal shelter. No one's been able to explain the Death Stranding, and I doubt anyone ever will. Certainly not with science. Science is only suitable for observation, measurement, objectivity. You can observe and measure as much as you like, but it brings you no closer to an understanding. Sometimes you need to expand your mind and open your heart. Seek the souls of the dead. Listen to the waves on the beach. In antiquity, there were no barriers between the realms. People moved freely between the earth, outer space, and the world of the dead. That these myths and legends, if not recorded on these journeys, or what are myths and legends if not records of these journeys? My life has only confirmed this, or research has only confirmed this. The pyramids of Egypt and Mesoamerica, the Nazcan lines, Stonehenge, all gateways built by humans in order to access the beach. Surely you can see that the wisdom of the ancients has never been more relevant? The people of Bridges will do well to remember that. Give me 2 seconds. Prepper interviewed the doctor at their personal shelter a year ago. I get what you're thinking. Why is this prepper claiming to be a doctor? Don't worry, you're not the first. Rest assured that I really am a doctor. I even have a medical license, though the governing body that issued it to me is long gone, so I won't be offended if that counts for little. But license or no, people still need doctors. Preppers get sick too, you know. It's not so hard for you to get your head around it, is it? Most folks haul themselves into a city hospital where when there's something really wrong. But out in the boonies, that's not really an option. But we can't leave those people to die. You know full well what would follow. And so I want to do what I can do to help. Around here, I'm the only one people need to rely on to keep them alive. Whenever I'm needed, I try to find someone to transport me to a patient's residence. That's hardly the most efficient approach. And if it doesn't endear me, and it don't endear me to the porters neither. I've heard that Bridges is trying to bring everyone into their chiral network. If it's as good as I heard, it'd be a real game changer. I can perform all sorts of diagnoses and even some treatments without having to leave my shelter. I hope you manage to extend it here soon. There's a lot of people out there counting on us both. Oh God. From the report on the void out in Manhattan #1. Recording date and time unknown, where's unknown, and the recorder's unknown. Who the hell? Those are the doctor's final words. At the time, no one knew to whom he was referring, and to be fair, there were more pressing issues at hand. The doctor in question was a surgeon specializing in cesarean sections. The procedure he was undertaking at the time, however, was slightly unusual, in that he was operating on a mother who had been declared brain dead 7 months into her pregnancy. She'd been placed on life support, but since her blood pressure was decreasing, the fetus was showing signs of bradycardia. The decision was made to operate. Because the procedure was broadcast to medical researchers on a closed-circuit network, we are fortunate to have a record on what took place. Per the footage, the incision was made without incident. The plan was apparently to remove the fetus from the womb and immediately place it in an NICU, where it would receive the necessary care. Prior to this, the surgeon would of course have to cut the umbilical cord. This is the moment that changed everything. The moment the surgeon's hand touched the cord, in the instant, he muttered his famous last words, "Who the hell?" From the report on Void Out in Manhattan number 2. Following a number of tests and experiments, the conclusion was reached that the incident was an annihilation event brought by the doctor's contact with whatever, or whomever, he had seen upon touching the umbilical cord. Though it eventually became apparent that the doctor had been referring to BTs, at that time no one could understand the underlying cause of the incident. Some later theorized that the same conditions, brain-dead mother, fetus, umbilical cord, could be recreated. Then BTs could be detected and the mystery of the Death Stranding could be solved. Indeed, this was the theoretical basis upon which the government's own experiments and investigations could be conducted. They called the fetuses they used bridge babies, and the experiments became known as the BB experiments. Soon after the government's program got underway, the tragedy in Manhattan occurred. Of course, you're a good girl, Jess. Thank you for the redeem. From the report on the Void Out in Manhattan number 3. The BB experiments were conducted at a Manhattan-based government facility in such extreme secrecy that little is known about them to this day. One thing we do know, though, for certain, is that experiments ended in tragic failure and were directly responsible for the total annihilation of the island of Manhattan, as well as the death of the president, who had been observing operations firsthand. He was succeeded by then Vice President Bridget Strand, who shortly after her inauguration put an end to all further BB experiments and had the data destroyed. With her strong and steadfast leadership in the wake of the Void Out, she made great strides in quelling the chaos and unrest that had spread throughout the nation. She vowed to rebuild America and devoted herself wholeheartedly to this end. In response, separatists who opposed Reconstruction emerged and steadily grew more aggressive in their activities. One faction even managed to acquire documents related to the BB experiments, and some speculate that this data was used to restart them in secret. At that time, however, no BB units were known to have been successfully created, and BBs in general remained a taboo subject in government circles. So, that's all of those. Although, if I recall correctly, where's Low Roar? Yeah, so CJ earlier was like, oh yeah, I can't believe some of the lore is like, yeah, and Hideo Kojima saw this. Wait, here. Low Roar is the solo project of a Reykjavik-based American musician, Ryan Karazija, who, well, actually, wait. Karazika, probably. Noting that it's he's from Reykjavik, who first released the album under that name in 2011. The globe-trotting musician finally encountered Hideo Kojima in the flesh at the release of the first Death Stranding trailer in LA. It was the meeting of two similarly creative minds, and after being contracted initially to provide some sound effects, he was eventually asked to record a version of Easy Way Out, specifically for the second trailer. So yeah, you were not only right, but you were more right than you know. But before we head out... Oh shit. Never mind. Well, that's the